crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Well, good morning. Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com with your morning heart disease, your sip of chaga coffee. Yes, I am back in the saddle again. YouTube, my week in purgatory is up. I can't say anything. I can't do anything. Censorship in the social media world is the worst thing that's ever happened to America. That's how you lose a country. That's how they are going to try and win. They take out those things that they feel are conspiratory. I think I'm going to play the song "They" after this because it's so true. And it's how you lose your country. We need to fight this. Thank God for Trump filing a lawsuit against these guys. It is so much worse than you guys can even imagine. The reality and the subtleness of taking out one side of the conversation, usually the truth, for a certain narrative to steer our country into a socialist world is vile and treasonous, if you ask me. So, YouTube, I'll mind my P's and Q's, and you'll go back into my archives for the last 50 years and say, oh, in 1942, you posted this. Strike. They control the mouse, just like the banking system. The Exchange Stabilization Fund and the U.S. Treasury control the mouse. They can click and end the system tomorrow if they wanted. Social media companies control the mouse. They can end you in a blink of an eye. And we've seen they ended a president's ability to communicate with his own nation. That's something like that. If you don't call that un-American, I don't know what you would call un-American. So, anyway, I'm back. Lovely to see you guys. While I was gone, I was posting. Mind you, make sure you go to the Road to Ruta website. And there's a free subscription on the left side, the public road updates. Put your name and email address in there, and I will show you where I'm posting every time they kick me off. So make sure you do that. Just posted a huge, over an hour discussion with Jenny Moonstone. It's called Huge Status, Silver, and Freedom Update, because we hadn't talked in a while. No, the cryptos are not crashing into oblivion. They are the future. I'm sorry, all you gold bugs who say, oh, no, cryptos are crazy. They are the future. Yes, they are manipulated. Manipulated up, down, and sideways. Absolutely 100%. But so's gold and silver. So's everything. Manipulation is easy with computer programs. And the regulator's gone. Literally, the regulators are gone. Let me show you, just to prove my point that the regulators are gone. This is a Forbes article back from June 16th. When will the CFTC get new leadership? CFTC regulates all the commodity markets. The most important regulator most people have never heard of has become one of the most neglected. No, they're not neglected. They are the force behind manipulation. Commodities Futures Trading Commission has been without a permanent chairman since Joe Biden took office in January, leaving it rudderless. The CFTC also has a number of unfilled positions in senior leadership, including the Director of Enforcement Division and the General Counsel. So you got the head of the department, the Director of Enforcement, and the General Counsel are missing from the CFTC. The CFTC is the entity that guards against manipulation in commodities. You can't write this script. It is the most ridiculous thing ever, but it is the reality we live in. So the rigs continue. Silver, rigged between $26 and $28. Boom, boom, up, down, side, You might ask yourself, okay, if there is no commissioner for the CFTC and there's no head of enforcement and there's no general counsel, who's creating all these new laws and new rules? Well, let's take a look. First of all, here's currently the sitting. Rustin Benham was supposed to step down in June. It is now July. He's still there, apparently. And listen to what the commission is. If you think this is a completely nonpartisan type of regulator who enforces the law, you're completely wrong, and they even state it. The commission consists of 5 commissioners appointed by the president with the advice and consent of the Senate to serve staggered 5-year terms. The president, with the consent of the Senate, so the president and the Senate, designates one of the commissioners to serve as chairman. So it's not just Biden, it's the whole Senate has not done their job. Listen to this. No more than 3 commissioners at any one time can be from the same political party. Now, why would politics play any role at all in the enforcement of laws? Why would politics play a role in the enforcement of laws unless you're running a banana republic, which we are? In the absence of a Senate-confirmed chairman, the commission will vote to select one of the sitting commissioners as chairman. Rustin Benham is the criminal who said, oh yeah, we had to tamp down the silver price. The very thing he is supposed to be guarding against, he patted himself on the back for contributing to. They tamped down the silver price. That is illegal in all commodity law. You cannot artificially tamp down a price. Silver needs to go to fair market value. What is fair market value? Probably 1-to-1 with gold, wherever gold ends up. So what's happening while there's no leadership and no enforcement and no general counsel at the CFTC? Gigantic things are happening. For example, just what was that? Yesterday, Commodity Futures Trading Commission Market Risk Advisory Committee today adopted a market best practice known as SOFR First for consideration by the full commission. SOFR First is a phased initiative for switching trading conventions from LIBOR to secured overnight financing rate for the U.S. dollar linear interest rate swaps, cross-currency swaps, nonlinear derivatives, and exchange-traded derivatives. This is huge. This is a massive change, they try to make it as completely complex as they can so that the commissioners, who are pretty much idiots, don't know what the hell they're trying to pass. Now, who did it? Who is running the show at the CFTC? SOFR First developed by MRAC's Interest Rate Benchmark Reform Subcommittee. It's all these subcommittees are filled with bankers. Here's the MRAC subcommittee, Market Risk Advisory Subcommittee. Who are they? Citadel, one of the largest high-frequency criminal traders out there. Citibank, right here. Director of Global Head of Innovation. Yeah, innovation. The Federal Reserve of New York, HSBC, the bank who's been fined the most money out of any bank or any cryptocurrency or anything. The largest money laundering bank on the history of the planet ever is on this board. And they are changing the rules without a commissioner and without the Market Oversight Commission head and without the General Counsel. Goldman Sachs, surprise, surprise, surprise. Managing Director and Head of Market Structure and Strategic Partnerships. Who else do we got here? BlackRock, the hidden hand in silver because they're not regulated. They're the hidden hand in everything now. Completely. You think, the U.S. government is using them. No, they are using the U.S. government. And because they're a hedge fund, they don't have the same regulations as banks. Bloomberg, a criminal enterprise. Virtu Financial, there it is. Virtu Financial, Vinny Viola's criminal market rigging company. How many times have I talked about Virtu Financial? 1 million. JP Morgan Chase, don't be left out, JP Morgan. Marini Rosenberg, Managing Director and Global Head of Clearinghouse and Risk Strategy. It's just insane. It just goes on and on. That's the committee. And then there's subcommittees. Look at all these subcommittees. Central Counterparty Risk. Same people, same entities on the subcommittee. And then related market interests. There they all are. Again, bang, same people. How about reports? Who are doing the reports? Cargill Management, Citi, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley's joint statement, Managing Climate Risk. It has completely gotten out of hand. The only way to run the con that they are running, which is controlling all markets, is to have these intricate webs of lawyers and banks and governments in on the game, because you got to change the rules. Over time, you got to change the rules. It gets more and more complex. The ability to control everything. There will be no inflation. There will be no inflation. Why? Because they control the price of everything on the comics. Inflation doesn't happen, but scarcity is all over the place. You can't even get silver without paying a $5 premium. That's the kind of world we're headed into. The price won't go up, but you won't be able to get any, no matter what price you bid. There'll be black market prices everywhere. So we are at the peak of complexity in financial market rigging, engineering. The whole concept of supply and demand is gone. Every market, the stock market, the bond market, commodity markets, the crypto markets, every single market is controlled by computers and derivatives run out of, there's various places, but the biggest is the basement of the U.S. Treasury. Yes, there's a computer trading floor on the basement of the U.S. Treasury. They showed it once on CNBC. And that's run out of not only the U.S. Treasury, but the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which is in league with all the top bankers and criminal trading organizations. JP Morgan being the biggest. How do we know JP Morgan is the biggest? You just look at silver. Look at the silver deliveries for this month. Goldman Sachs, 260. That's for their customer. Goldman Sachs did nothing this month. Goldman Sachs, remember when the silver squeeze was happening, supposedly? Yeah, it wasn't a squeeze. But who came out and said, oh my God, we need to stop these people? Goldman Sachs, Jeff Curry of Goldman Sachs. Why? Because they had to deliver from their own house account almost 15 million ounces of silver. And they didn't have it, and they had to scramble and cheat and lie and steal. That's why Jeff Curry came out. That's why Jeff Christian came out. But look what's going on now. Who is the number one rigger? HSBC, a huge, for their house account, they took in 1,000 contracts. Wait, did they take it in? No, they gave out 5 million ounces they had to deliver. HSBC, the largest money laundering bank in the world, the largest criminal bank in the world, besides JP Morgan. HSBC has been busted for it. HSBC stands for Hong Kong Shanghai Bank. It was set up in the 1850s in China to suck all the silver out of China during the Opium Wars. I've gone through that a few times. Standard Chartered Bank, another huge criminal bank, bleeding more silver. Look at all these. Whoever issues it bleeds the silver. They're issuing the silver. Wells Fargo had to pay a bunch of silver. What the hell is Wells Fargo even doing in silver? Scotia Capital, another criminal bankster. Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, of course. JP Morgan, of course. So we see the same names over and over again. It's not like the criminals at the CFTC even know what's going on. It's not like they have to go far. Remember, they had 3 investigations into the rigging of the price of silver. 3 investigations into the rigging of the price of silver. Found nothing. Said everybody was a conspiracy theorist and tinfoil hat wearer. And then the DOJ comes in and busts JP Morgan for 10 years of it while they were doing their investigation. Why do we even have a CFTC? Unless it's to rig the price of silver, and that's exactly what they're doing. All right, you've heard this all before. When will it end? I think the next hot spot is going to be August, right before the September delivery. As we see, that's when all the action happens. As we see right here, all the action happens right before the delivery month. That's when they got to get out of their short contracts and try to roll them over. Here's a day where 1 billion ounces of physical, in one day, 1 billion ounces of electronic derivative contracts traded hands. There is no economic justification for that at all. 1 billion ounces is the total amount of silver mined and the total amount of silver recycled in a year. And yet these criminals, and this is not like thousands of people doing stuff. This is 4 or 5 big banks throwing massive contracts to destroy the price of silver. Not like we don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's go to cryptos really quick. They're doing the same thing. This is a very important time for humanity. We are transferring out of the old system into the new. The old system has to be put together with massive committees, and all these strings have to hold together. They've got 50 fingers in the dikes, and it can all end with the click of a mouse. Click of a mouse can destroy it all, especially the Exchange Stabilization Fund. You don't even have to click the mouse. You just have to back off manipulation. Everything falls apart instantly. That's how fragile we are. Anyway, yes, cryptos are rigged, and they're rigged by the good guys and the bad guys. The bad guys usually on the upside. The bad guys control Tether, Bitfinex, Binance, that whole world. Those are the riggers. Anybody thinking otherwise, don't know. Just look at the amount of Tether created when Bitcoin goes up. Who's doing it? Who controls Tether? Follow the breadcrumbs, and you'll get to the deep state. It's actually the deep state pedos. I hate to say it, but hey, that's follow the breadcrumbs. Tether is the reason that cryptos go up. When Bitcoin goes up, all the other cryptos are going up, and it's a feeding frenzy. And the U.S. government comes in to tamp down the price. As we know from Christian Carl, the head of the CFTC, said we had to stop the Bitcoin price from going up, and they did in 2017, 2018. Your government is fighting against you and your investment theories. What we need is free markets. I don't know where they would end up. Probably a lot higher, but we haven't seen free markets in the United States since the invention of computers in the 1960s, computer trading programs. Alan Greenspan was the head guy behind the Federal Reserve Bank. A guy named Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed, brought on Alan Greenspan because he was the best computer programmer in the world. He created our electronic financial system. Most people don't know that. So Arthur Burns, his mentor, brought him into the Fed and said, we need to go off a gold standard, but we have to control the price of everything. Can your computer programs help us do that? Absolutely. As a good American, he said, yes, I will help save the world. I would say he helped destroy the world. He won't have to live through the popping. He might. He's still alive. Not as sharp, not as quick as he was, not as fast. He was the king. He fooled the world for decades and decades with the computer programs run out of the Exchange Stabilization Fund. Fooled the financial world. That's amazing. And it's all in the Road to Ruta documents. I've outlined it many times. You know, people hate Alan Greenspan, the evil banker. There's plenty of reason to hate him. He kicked the can down the road from 1971 when we went off the gold standard all the way to today. But now we have the biggest bubble in human history. Biggest bubbles, everything bubble now. And when it pops, nothing is left standing unless you have it in your own possession with no links or ties or commitments. Physical silver in your own possession. If you have to have gold for some crazy reason, you aren't able to swap 70 ounces of gold, 70 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold, okay, you'll do fine. You won't get rich. If you swap all your gold for silver, you're the smartest man on your block, or woman on your block, or he, she, it on your block. That is the play. With cryptos, get the good ones and get them in your own possession because they are the future. We will not be bringing gold and silver into space. It just won't happen. And any society that has evolved so that they move into space wherever in the world, they do not use gold and silver as money. Silver will be absolutely necessary for all the parts to make those spaceships. And that is happening right now as we speak. We will be, in our lifetimes, in the next 10, 15, 20 years, we will be taking trips into space. It's just happening. And it's happening right now. All the hidden technologies will be revealed. There's all kinds of shit that goes down when the control system breaks down, when the old banking system breaks down. So be ready for that. And if you're really smart, you'll get a hell of a lot of theta at $5. It went down to $4.50 or something. That's a gift. An even bigger gift is T-Fuel because you can stake that and make more than if you stake theta right now. That will change. But right now, mainly because all the validators have mutually decide they're not going to be staking T-Fuel, which gives T-Fuel a huge advantage over Theta as far as staking rewards. And that will stay in place. I mean, yeah, for a while. So, I played about 50-50. 50-50 Theta, 50-50 T-Fuel. A lot of people using the 5-to-1 ratio. Probably smart. If you own just T-Fuel in the past 6 months and had been staking it, you're golden. You're rich. Congratulations. Anyway, that's where we are on the road to Ruta. If you want to, please join the public road. While I'm still up here on YouTube, that I can tell you, join the public road right here before they censor me again. And if you want to get all the Jenny Moonstone readings, which you should, you can get your own reading from her, jennymoonstone.com, and have your own discussion with her. Or you can watch the Road to Ruta discussions. Go to the member area. We're changing the website a little bit. Go to the member area and join the private road. Hit subscribe today right at the top, and it'll show you we are sending out the Ruta coin. Look at that. We got a new website. Josh is working on this stuff behind the scenes. Look at that coin. Look at it. All you silver lovers. You should all have at least a couple of these. The only way to get it is a 1-year subscription to the Road to Ruta. And then we send it to you, to your front door. Just click on subscription and join the private road. This is Bix Weir. I am going to leave you with a song. It's so important to the future of our country, and it talks about censorship in my country, in the country I love. Keep up the fight. We have to fight for our country, or they're going to take it. This is Bix. I will talk to you later.
Well, I grew up in the USA. I was taught that speech was free. Birmingham to Burning Man, you can speak any truth you see. Lately things have changed, they say I can't speak truth no more. And I'm just sitting here wondering who they are working for. See, they're gonna kick me off of YouTube unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook unless I pretend that socialism's a-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say as they kill free speech in the USA. They decide what's right, they decide what's wrong, they ban what won't conform. They sit in shadows, they run the gallows, say I must abide the norm. Without free speech we lose freedom, they cut off our free will. If I find truth that they don't like, they'll label me a shill. And then they're gonna kick me off of YouTube unless I say 9/11's just another day. And they delete my friends on Facebook unless I pretend that socialism's a-okay. And they are gonna shadow ban my Twitter unless I tweet the chemtrails of Perrier. Finally they'll ban everything I've got to say as they kill free speech in the USA. They're trying to kill free speech in the USA. Now wait a minute, it's not like me to give up on a fight. I'll expose their evil plans, bring their shadows into light. And I'll name names, I'll play their games, I've got them in my sight. They're trying to change the USA. I fight for what is right, so they can kick me off for YouTube. 9/11's all about building 7 and it ain't okay. And they can delete all my Facebook, but socialists fail every time in every single way. And they can shadow ban my Twitter, but I'm looking up at chemtrail skies each and every day. See, they have no right to ban anything I have to say, and I'll fight for free speech in the USA. I'm gonna fight for free speech in the USA. It's my right, free speech in the USA.